She's okay. Right, welcome everybody to Catworth Parish Council's December meeting. I declare the meeting open at 7:30. Public and press are invited to attend. Please be aware council meetings may be recorded, subject to the openness of local government bodies regulations 2014. Kindly ask anybody intending to record the meeting, please inform the chair or clerk beforehand in order that any necessary arrangements may be made. So we will start, please, with the open section. Usual notice, each person wishing to address the council is requested to direct their question to the chair and will be allowed to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes, that is subject to the chair's discretion. This part can be no longer than 15 minutes, and members of the public are reminded that they cannot participate in any other part of the meeting unless invited to do so. So, over to the public. Do we have any comments at all? Yes, Derek.
Yes, this is a point of information actually. Is there any limit on the number of items that are on the agenda?
Over to our clerk on that.
The reason I ask that is the agenda seems to get longer and longer.
They do, don't they?
And even as it becomes longer and longer, then each individual item has all subdivisions. So which makes it, you know, if you want to stay here all night, I think you're going away.
Thank you. Point noted. Thank you. Yes, Simon.
Simon Nathan, I'm here on behalf of the Catworth Pop-Up Pub Committee. Unfortunately, I can't stay for the meeting. I'm going to leave out this section. But we just wanted to thank the council for considering our proposal for the pub to be nominated to go on the list of Hunt's DCS. It's a community value. And we appreciate your efforts in considering it, and thank you for taking the time to ask some questions of us. And hopefully we answer the questions suitably well. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for your submission as well. Thank you very much, and for all the work that you've done. Any other questions at all?
Yes, please. I just really want to do something on behalf of the neighbourhood plan. It's in connection with item 12.153 on the agenda, which is to do with a request for support to the neighbourhood plan team. The background has been provided through a report to the council, and also I think there's something over the last couple of months where we've gone in to explain the reasons about the loss of central government funding. Just really wanted to say that the reason for our proposals tonight is that we've reached the stage in the neighbourhood plan where we actually need an external consultant to come in and actually give us some guidance and an audit in terms of where we've got to thus far, to make sure that we don't sort of go down an avenue that's going to lead to a neighbourhood plan that is challenged when it comes to an examination stage. So we've actually gone out to see whether there's other funding around from HDC and from ACRE, but we're finding that there's no sources since the government funding dried out. So I suppose what we're looking for is to see whether the council is able to support in that. And we've gone to a number of external consultants to see if we can provide support, and the best one that has come up is actually through ACRE, which is I think the Association of Cambridgeshire Rural, I can't remember what the acronym's for, but they're actually got a lot of experience in terms of delivering their plans, and we've had a meeting or a conference call with their consultant who's provided a very detailed scheme moving forward. But what we're looking for in the first instance is purely and simply for the council to support us through a single day's consultancy, so we can make that audit check to see what external support going forward we need and what we can do as a team for ourselves. The overall aim being to keep costs of the project, as we've tried to throughout the process, to a minimum. So obviously you've got a detailed report which gives some information about the types of services. So hopefully that's just really for the members of the public to be aware of sort of what's going on here. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the public at all? No. Okay. We will proceed with the agenda then. To receive and accept apologies and reasons for non-attendance.
Councillor Janine Turner.
Okay. And do we have any declarations of interest or any written requests for the disclosable pecuniary interest dispensations?
Yes, there was mine, so I sent that in formally.
Yes,
Thank you.
receive that one.
So Councillor Chris Bales has sent in a dispensation. Do Council accept that dispensation? We've all seen that. So could I have a proposer, please, to accept that? Okay, proposed. And seconded from Jeff. All those in favour? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So next item, if we could please receive Huntingdonshire District Council and or Cambridgeshire County Councillors' reports, please. I see that Ian is here with us today. Hello, Ian. Hello.
Thank you very much, Chair. Apologies for not being at the last two, but some got taken over with various different meetings that I need to sit on. So, as your county councillor, I had a meeting with Leslie and the tree officer at Cambridgeshire County Council, and we had a look at the various trees in the village on Monday. With regard to the London play on the junction of Church Road and Church End, his advice would be to the household or the resident there who was taking a problems with the roots growing through the floor, they will need to contact their insurers and then go that way through to the county council. With regard to a horse chestnut tree adjacent to the footpath, they've now undertaken a survey and he was just waiting to go through that report, as I remember rightly, Leslie, so hopefully he'll be coming back shortly with regard to that. They will be also removing the cherry tree on Church Road that has become very, it's dying, so they've agreed that that needs to be removed, and the tree that died that they replaced when they put in the new footpath, that's died, that tree will be replaced. So hopefully that sorts that, but Justin said he would write to the chair so that she knows all that information. With regard to local government reorganisation, which has been taking a lot of time for both the district and the county council, I can tell you now that all local authorities within Cambridgeshire and Peterborough have now submitted their preferred options to the government. There are 4 options going forward to government. They are option A, which is the preferred solution by the county council, is for a 2-tier unitary, with 2 unitaries, and that would be unitary 1 would be Peterborough City, Huntingdonshire and Pendon, and unitary 2 would be Cambridge City, South Cambs and East Cambs. So that's been put forward by the county council. Option B has been submitted by Cambridge City, South Cambs and East Cambs, which is again for 2 unitaries. That would be unitary 1 would be Peterborough City, Huntingdonshire, Benmond and East Cambs, with unitary 2 would be in Cambridge City and South Cambs. Peterborough City and Clendon District Council have gone with option D, which is for 3 unitary councils, but in this particular case, Huntingdonshire is split. So we would have 3 unitaries. Unitary 1 would be Greater Peterborough, with Peterborough City and North Hunts, which includes the Kimbolton ward within which you sit. So that would be unitary 1. Unitary 2 would be Mid Cambs, and that's Fenland, East Cambs and South Hunts, which includes St Neots, Godmanchester, St Ives, Ramsey and Great Staunton ward. And unitary 3 would be Cambridge City and South Cambs. And then proposal D has been submitted by HDC, which again would be for 3 unitaries, and that would be unitary 1 would be Huntingdonshire on its own. Unitary 2 would be Peterborough City, Bendland and East Cambs, and unitary 3 would be Cambridge City and South Cambs. So Cambridge, just to let you know, Cambridge City and South Cambs are campaigning to be a one unitary. They don't really want to be joined with anybody else. So that's now gone to government. The government will now come back to, they will be consulting on those proposals between now and the May elections, and then after that, in the summer, they will come back with their, what they think the right solution, i.e. it will have to be A, B, D or E. So, as I understand it, they will not come up with another alternative. Elections to the new shadow unitary authorities will take place in May 27, with the new unitaries taking over all services from April 28. There will still be a district council and parish council elections next year. As far as we are aware, that is unlikely to be cancelled. The County Council has now produced its draft business plan and budget proposals for the years 26-27 and 28-29. That will be presented at the meeting of the Council's Strategy, Resources and Performance Committee tomorrow, Thursday the 11th of December, which will be live streamed on the Council's YouTube channel if you so wish to watch. The Council is also inviting all parishes and town councils to attend an online session tomorrow night between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. if you're interested in joining that to hear what the business plan and budget proposals are. With regard to the guided busway, you've probably seen in the news, the County Council is now fencing the entire length of the busway to separate the busway from the maintenance track, which is also the active travel route. So as a consequence, while that work is being undertaken, the travel times on the buses will be reduced because the speed limit has been reduced, and all informal crossing points will be closed. Some are going to be made into formal crossing points, but the vast majority will be closed for health and safety reasons. The County Council has now opened its solar-powered EV charging points at the St Ives Park and Ride site. There are nine 22 kilowatt chargers, 8 of which are available for everybody to use, with the 9th designated for disabled drivers. The chargers use renewable energy produced by solar panels mounted on canopies over the park and ride site. With regard to highways, the new highways reporting system went live on the 22nd of September. The system is known as Aurora. Now, you need to report all faults to the highway through that reporting tool, which you can get on the County Council's website. So you can, on there, you can report potholes, blocked gullies, flooding, trees, overgrown edges, obscured signs, anything with regard to footpaths, so if there's a missing stile or whatever, white lines, they want everything reported on the reporting tool, because that automatically then gives it a number and they can follow it up. If after, say, 8 weeks, you haven't had a response back to tell you whether it meets requirements or not, that's when you need to contact me, and I will then chase it up on your behalf. But you know, sort of 8 to 10 weeks. If you want to do an LHI bid for next year, 26-27, then you need to submit that by the 26th of January. With feasibility studies will then be undertaken between February and May, with the panel meetings held in June, July, with the decision at the October October meeting of the Highways and Transportation Committee. Again, it will be the same principle as it was before. Non-complex will be up to £10,000. Complex schemes will be up to £25,000. With regard, if you were looking at a 20-mile-an-hour scheme application, that opens on the 26th of January 26th and closes on the 27th of March 26th. And again, that will be decided at the October meeting. If you've already submitted previously under the 20-mile-an-hour scheme, then that automatically remains there, but you can update that application if you so wish. But that's all I really have to say at this stage, unless there's anything else you wanted to ask me or anything else.
So you said that any previous applications will remain there. Do we
For the
need...
20 mile an hour
Okay.
scheme, not for an LHI bid,
Okay.
but for a 20 mile an hour, if you've got a previous application, it will remain.
So we don't have to reapply?
You don't
or
have to
anything like that?
reapply unless you think you've got a bit more information that you think might help your application. So if, say, you've done a survey around the village and you've got more people supporting that application, then that would be a useful thing to add to your application.
Okay. Right, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions at all for Ian? No. So thank you very much, Ian.
I would just like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a
Very
Happy
much.
New Year. It's getting to that time of year. And then, as I say, I look forward to seeing you all in January, hopefully. All right?
Yes.
If there's
Thank you.
nothing else you want me on the agenda, then I will disappear. So,
That's fine, yes.
Okay.
And thank you very much for all your
Thank
help.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So planning items. Number one, we have a listed building consent to have a look at. I think the extension was granted till tomorrow.
Did we skip minutes?
We did skip minutes, yes. Thank you. Sorry, going back one agenda item. To receive and approve the Parish Council meeting minutes held on the 12th of November 2025. Do I have an approver, please? First approver from Dan and a seconder from Chris, please. All those in favour? Yes, thank you. There you go. None of them are the same. Each signature is different. Okay, now we're on to the planning item. List of building consent to consider. The planning advisory group has already given some advice for other councillors to consider. Do we have any comments at all? Anybody like to start? Claire, yes, please.
Yes, my obviously I have been rather absent and I didn't take part in that, but my concern was for the fencing. I imagined a fence within the wall being quite high and gates, which for privacy purposes I could understand, however, wrong property. And I have read the report that says that that has been removed from the application, but that is nowhere on the application online in writing. Therefore, I agree that we recommend approval on the basis of like-for-like materials, etc., which is out of our hands. It's very much in the hands of the listed buildings officer, and I know that they're very tight on that. So I'm quite happy with that, but I would like in our response to actually put that our approval is on the basis that the fencing and the gate has been removed from the application.
Any other comments at all? No? Okay, are we all in agreement with Claire on that then? Yes, to approve the listed building consent as far as the parish council is concerned, subject to that observation.
Yep.
Okay, could I have a proposer, please, to that? So Claire proposing, second. Jeff, and all those in favour? Yes, thank you. So do you want to write anything now, or is that all okay?
So I will use the wording, and is this about the fencing, we need to add anything in, or are you happy with this as it is?
No, what we're saying is that is that not in that report about having spoken to the homeowner? So this is very boomy, actually, is there?
Sorry.
Yeah, basically that we recommend approval subject to the fact that the homeowner has advised us verbally that they've withdrawn the fencing and gate, and subject to that being the case. That's this bit here.
Okay. Yeah, that's all what we want to say.
And that is the case. They
Okay,
advised us they've
nothing
withdrawn
else.
this.
Yeah, you don't want any other wording.
I don't think so.
No, just approval apart from that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next planning item is the HDC's local plan. We have a note to respond to the public consultation on the preferred options draft local plan to 20 to 46. The consultations run from the 5th of November until the 17th of December. Again, the planning advisory group met to go through that in great detail. It is a very long document, 469 pages.
Yeah, something like that.
And came up with some observations about that, which we've circulated to everybody. Any comments on that at all, please, or if you...
I do, just in a couple of the... Is this going to be the wording, the document that you have?
I think that is the proposal. Yeah.
Yes, so on several occasions it is mentioned the neighbourhood plan survey. Now going back in time, we referred to it as the village survey because the survey, although produced by Catnip, extended beyond the neighbourhood plan to include call for sites and various other things that we felt were very much pertinent to what the village might want over the next couple of years. It made it a more useful tool. Therefore, I would suggest that rather than restrict by using the term neighbourhood plan survey, you call it the village survey, which you can then explain encompasses the needs of the neighbourhood plan.
I think it was actually at the time, it was called... It was called a parish survey,
Yes,
so would that,
yes,
yes, so that was what was actually put on the documentation,
yes.
yes.
I know it's a finicky point, but I think it's
No,
important because
yes,
it extends.
yes, no, thank you very much, yes, it is a very good point. The neighbourhood plan team put it together, but it was for the whole
Yes.
parish, not just in respect
And without them,
of,
we wouldn't have had it in the first
Yeah.
place.
it wasn't just in respect of neighbourhood planning.
Thank you.
As far as the group is concerned, we're happy with that. Any
Yes,
other?
thank you for going through. It's a lengthy and a weighty document, so a good summary, and I agree with you, Claire, as well. And do we know whether anybody, as a result of the drop over the weekend, has anybody, have additional comments been made on the site? Has anyone looked?
I haven't had a chance to
No.
look since
Okay.
the
We
weekend.
just sort
A
of
couple of
curious.
people messaged me to say that they were going to comment directly on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we can see what impact that, because it does take a few days to load
Yeah.
up as well. So if we can keep an eye on whether people have engaged with it.
Mm. So do we think we'd want to send a reminder on Facebook as well?
Might be an idea.
Just a little bit of a notice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the notice that we put out as the flyer? Yes?
Yep.
Because that closes next Wednesday, I believe. So you can either comment on every single individual item of the local plan or do an email, a more general email. So I think from what we've done, we will be sending that by email to HDC rather than doing the individual commenting, which is an awful lot easier. But if any of members of the public have specific items that are of interest to them, then please do go online and answer on that specific thing.
Yep.
Lovely. So thank you very much. And thank you very much to my fellow the fellow
reading, that was.
planning group, yes,
Waiting.
planning group members. A lot of reading was done and a lot of discussion as well. So thank you for doing that in so much depth. Thank you. Moving on, the next planning item is in respect of the East Park Energy Solar Farm application. It's been noted that this is not within our parish, but because of possible implications to ourselves, the comment window is currently open. There is a campaign over in North Beds, so they're calling it an objection window, but it is a comments window. You can put objections or approvals on that. So it was considered last month by council that we could perhaps have a look as to whether we do feel we should make any comments. The planning group, we did talk at length about this and felt that because it's not actually within our parish, as far as a parish council is concerned, it's just to do with potential increased traffic that we would want to perhaps make some observations. As far as individuals are concerned, there's lots of other things that people are quite welcome to say for themselves, but for the parish ourselves, we felt that that was appropriate. Any other comments on that? Whether you feel that is appropriate, not appropriate, we should be saying more or less?
I feel we should be saying more in that we need to, in a similar vein to the business parks that are proposed in the surrounding mileage, the number of solar panel farms that are, we've got some already at Graffham and up at Rookery Farm, but then it's being extended. Over in the west, we've got large amounts either side of the A45, and this is the, I'm trying to remember, is it the North Lincolnshire? No, not North Lincolnshire. We're in Wolds, aren't we? And what is it? The Northwest Huntingdonshire Wolds.
They seem to
I
be
should have written
referred
it
as
down.
different things by different organisations. Some just call them the sort of the North North Wolds,
Yes,
in North Huntswold. Some others seem to call them the Kim Wolds.
yes.
So, yeah.
But this is changing the landscape from agricultural to industrial. I think Jonathan Gray put it extremely well. And once that landscape is changed, what happens in the future at the end of the lifespan of the panels? Does it then become open ground in an industrial sense? Because the latest research suggests that the leakage of plastics into the soil and other sort of effect of being part shade and the way that the water drains off the panels affects the soil literally in tiger stripes of leaching of soil quality. All of those things, how does that affect our landscape in the future? And I think it is worth trying to put that together in a paragraph saying that we need to look at the bigger picture than each solar park on its own, and the overall effect on our landscape and our rural communities, especially where these panels are surrounding people's houses and hamlets, and the increase in ambient temperature in the summer from the panels themselves, and the background noise that created from the battery installations where the electricity has to be stored, and that sort of thing, and also any security lighting. We have been reassured at Rickery Farm that the security lighting will not be on 24 hours a day, but that's what they've said now. And we all know that timing systems go out of sync and things happen, and you know there is a knock-on effect. But it is an industrial landscape going forward. So I don't know how everybody else feels about that.
I mean, as you're aware, I was concerned that it would potentially be visible as you go out towards Storlonger, as you look down over that plateau. You wouldn't see the whole extent of it, but I was concerned that it would be visible. And to a certain extent, ward boundaries are a somewhat artificial construct in terms of it's a convenience thing for local government. I wouldn't necessarily say members of the public will be expected to know when they've passed from one ward boundary into another. And I think I said at the time I was a little bit concerned with the visual, predominantly the visual impact, but I agree with the other points you're raising. I felt that the public would expect that we would take a view on that, on the whole thing, with it being so large and so neighbouring, and I did at the time express that.
You did, yeah.
So,
Any other comments at all on this part? No, as to whether we think it's appropriate to say, obviously, as much as Claire has raised, as far as the council is concerned. So we have to think as far on a council. Obviously, we'll think personally as well, have our own personal views, but as far as the council representing the parish is concerned, how far should we go with comments? How much do we want to say?
I think it makes a great point, Claire.
Thank you.
And if you're prepared to summarise those,
I could do a draft and put it
send
out
it
to
around.
everybody.
Yeah, that would be terrific.
But yeah, I mean, the main point is
Yeah.
we as a community and our fellow communities surrounding us, we need to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Leslie's point is a good one, that no matter our personal views on things, we've got to make sure we're representing our parishioners.
Yes.
And I don't have a good feel for what 300 people are thinking about the solar park. I think the actions that have been taken by the planning group to circulate flyers is a brilliant one, because it gives everyone the opportunity to make those individual comments. So, yeah,
We haven't circulated on anything on East Park. We've
no,
not done
agreed,
anything on
but
that.
just the fact that you were circulating
Yeah.
flyers to bring people's attention to the planning issues
To the-
that are coming up, that for me is a really good approach to take, because it means that we can get people to make those representations.
Is it worth revisiting the original proposal that I sent to the planning working group? Did that go out to the wider council?
No,
I don't
no
think
it didn't.
did it?
No.
There might be a little bit of value in that, unless you're happy to work from a blank sheet. But, there was a few comments, mainly about the visual aspect, that we didn't then forward on. So that is available if it's of any use.
Okay. I mean, as it's not sort of directly affecting us, I don't think it's something that we necessarily need to actually vote on as to how we respond.
It's on the agenda, we could at least what we want to say.
We just,
Okay.
we just
Yeah.
need an agreed response,
Yeah,
don't we?
yeah.
Yes,
And then we can detail it.
yes. So, I think Claire obviously has gone a lot further than we suggested we would go. So perhaps I could ask everybody if you would like to have a show of hands, please, as to whether you agree that we should go with all the extra comments as well.
Can we see them
Yes,
first
I was
and
going to
then
say,
read
I
it
think
and then-
I ought to put
Well,
a draft together.
We
And
can't
then that
have
could
another
be-
vote. Claire said verbally what she's going to do. We can then agree if she then puts that together for us. But I think we need to take the vote now because next month it is too late.
What's the deadline?
14th of January, and our meeting is on the 14th of January.
Okay.
Can we agree at this point to consider a draft
Yes.
and then decide, are we allowed to then decide by email whether or not the majority wish that to be included? You would agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
So-
we
sort
could
of-
just discuss the points now and
Yeah.
we all agreed on what
I mean, I
we're
think
gonna
we can say
yes.
now, if we can have a vote that along the lines of what Claire and Chris are saying, to make those sort of comments, and then we will agree by email as to whether Claire then puts forward on the email what she's just
I'll do a draft
articulated.
of a paragraph.
That would be great.
On the
Yeah.
wording, yeah.
Okay. So could I have a proposer then to make the comments as Claire has verbally articulated tonight, please?
Thank you.
And we will then agree the actual wording
Yes.
as we go along.
Absolutely.
Or not at all.
Absolutely. Yes, I've seconded it. Are you going to propose again because you carried on the
Yeah,
conversation?
proposed.
Yes.
We're
thank you.
voting
And
to
I've
consider a
seconded it.
draft at
We
the
are,
end of the day.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a proposer, we had a seconder. All those in favour? Okay. Thank you very much, Claire, for those comments. Thank
Nope.
you. That's really helpful. Thank you. Okay. Next item, Brampton Cross Working Group. Anything to report at all this time?
Very little
Okay.
forward movement, really. The fact that the decision point has gone out to Q3 of 2026 has given everybody a bit of a breathing space, and I think because it was so intense on the lead up for that particular team over at Brampton, I think they're taking the opportunity to take a breather, and
Okay.
they'll be back after Christmas, I'm
Back
certain.
after Christmas.
But I did check with them.
Thank you very much for your continued, those of you who are involved in that project, for your continued involvement there. That's great, thank you. Planning Advisory Group, anything else to report at all? Any other items going on? It's not already covered?
No.
No, the only other thing I've noted is HDC have just given consent on the 4th of December to the felling of a box elder and an apple tree and the pruning of another box elder at 29 High Street. So that was obviously applied for as they're within the conservation area. So that's fine. Item 153, our neighbourhood plan. To receive the monthly report from the Catnip team, Mike, our leader, has already given a summary. Councillors have the report in full. We deferred from last month for some further consideration. So could we please now consider and the proposal is to approve the ongoing support from the council for the completion of the neighbourhood plan by external consultants, by either directly funding and or obtaining funding from alternative sources. This being necessary from the withdrawal of all government grants this summer for neighbourhood plans. Now, I believe, Chris, you
I need to
would like to...
request that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So do we have anyone who would like to make some comments?
Just one question in relation to Mike's summary at the start. Was it not indicated that actually they were after 1 hour's worth of consultant money initially?
Yes, under Part B, yes.
Yeah,
So under
okay.
Part B, yes.
Okay, so do we not just decide on that now? Or do we got to decide on the whole lot?
So my reading, and please correct me if I'm wrong, my reading of the cabinet report was that it was the getting on with task 1 was the important thing, and that's what the approval was sought.
Yeah.
The question I had last time that I still don't know the answer to is how we can fund it. So I don't understand what the mechanism is by which the parish council is allowed to fund whatever, £10,000 worth of non-statutory grants, donation. I'm not sure what category it falls into. Have we managed to answer that?
It's a good question. We're still asking for counsel. We've had many emails about this morning. It's still a bit somewhat ambiguous, the 137, so I have not had the chance to read through all of the literature again.
Because I think 137 could cover this.
It could.
But it would probably be most of it. So
Yes,
it would
it
be most
could.
of our next year's allowance of 137. So
Well, yes, you're right, but also we could do some from this year and then some from next
Yep,
year,
fair
and
comment.
a blend. So at first sight, the 137, from what I've read on the train journey home, it appears that it's so vague enough that it would encompass it. And even though you may not have it in your budget and you've got the reserves there, you could move that and go for the maximum amount, which is circa 3k per year. So if we took 3k this year, for example, 3k next year, also I feel that the audit, given the time scale, and I haven't had a conversation with the person involved, but looking at their proposal, it would go over 2 financial years, so that does actually work to our advantage as well. And if there is other funding available from other sources, we could potentially supplement it with that.
So, Dan, you mentioned an hour. I think Mike said a day.
Yes, I was just
Yeah,
going to
okay,
say-
sorry, that.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a day.
That's all right.
it's a one unit.
Yeah, one.
So I am a details person.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're right.
sorry.
So I think the request is from the neighbourhood plan team that council do approve ongoing support, and whether that funding comes directly or council obtains funding from elsewhere, that they are willing to do so. So
So I think
providing that
there's a
support.
difference between the blanket just approval and support and the specific request that's been made to do the first day of consultancy.
Yes, so that's why we've got the 2 parts here.
Because my understanding is then that that will bring us a framework of what we need going forward and costs.
Yes, where the
Appropriate.
gaps are.
That's it.
Yes.
But that's
Yes.
part of that first
So how much is that first day cost?
545 plus VAT.
Which obviously we can recover that, so 5.5. Which, yeah, I mean, it was got
within
our own.
We've got to
Which
dig
falls
the
within
exploratory
Yes,
hole
which
before
does.
we can
Sorry,
start
can we just
the
have one
trench.
person speaking at a time? Sorry, Ellie.
So the 545 falls within S137, so it is within our non-statutory grant capability.
Thank you.
Sorry, Claire, did you have something you
No,
wanted
no,
to say
that's
there?
answered.
No. Okay. So, does council feel they can't approve ongoing support then?
So I would suggest there are 2 things that I believe we need to answer from an ongoing support standpoint. The first one is, at what point, given that this is a really substantial spend in comparison with precept, at what point we ask the parishioners to validate what is being proposed as part of the plan. I believe that it's part of the expectation before the final submission, but I'd suggest that we should do that before we spend all the money getting the final submission together, rather than spending all the money and then asking whether we've got it right. So there's a question mark for me, when do we ask our parishioners the question? And then the second one is something that struck me recently, is my understanding is that the key benefit of the neighbourhood plan should be really significant, is a step up in the amount of sill that the parish can retain as a result of having a neighbourhood plan in place. However, we've not spent the amount of sill that we've got for the past decade. So what are we actually going to do with this? We're just about to spend 50% almost of next year's precept. And whilst there is a monetary benefit in terms of cash in the bank, we have a history of not spending the thing that is ring-fenced as sill. So I would suggest that we put something in place where we say we know how this benefit is going to be used. Because otherwise, we're spending a whole load of money and it's never actually going to benefit.
And then we could lose it if we don't spend it.
And if we don't spend it, we lose it, as we're doing at the moment with the historical sill. So I believe it's really important that, yes, I think the benefits have been outlaid in terms of the cash that comes in, and what are we doing with it so we don't lose it, which is the alternative within 4 years, which is a really short period of time.
5 years.
5 years, sorry, thank you.
Well, the sill, certainly the sill hasn't been spent, but it has been allocated.
But it's not been spent, and it then
No,
goes back to the county
but then we
council.
can't, there's nothing else we can spend it on at the moment because of the allocation, and we're waiting for Cambs County Council to come back.
And we've not planned for what we would do with this money. And my suggestion is that in good faith we should be planning that. We should be saying, if there's an expectation we're going to get some amount in, 20, 30, 40,000 pounds if planning occurs as expected. So what? Is that all just going to go back to Hunsdon, whichever council it is that receives the monies? Or do we have something where we can concretely say we're going to be putting allotments in place, or we're going to be putting a new play area in place? Or I'm
Well,
sure there are
that's
things
then
that
for
we can.
council to decide. You know, if we
Absolutely.
get that money coming in, then council can think about that.
Well, no, I don't. That I don't agree with. I don't think there should be then it'll happen, because that's not a justification for our parishioners today spending £10,000, which is what we're just about to do.
Well, not all at once. We are proposing to spread it over
No,
no
but
time.
regardless of the timescale, what you're saying, Ollie, is as a magnitude.
You mean a
that's-
designation of that fund, those
This
funds?
is a huge
Okay.
proportion of what our parishioners are giving us as a precept.
I agree.
It would be the single biggest spend over that, second biggest spend over that period of time. We should be explicit about what we're doing with it.
I agree with you entirely, but I think the neighbourhood plan is more than just the funds that come in from the SIL. I think it's important to be a part of the local plan, and therefore it is a way for us to set boundaries for the future and development of the village. We are open, we are vulnerable as we stand. So I think the neighbourhood plan is more than just the money aspect of increased funds and therefore projects that could be done. I think it goes further.
Okay. Well, it's very clearly laid out because there is a document shared about what are the benefits.
Yes.
And the vast majority of that document is talking about the monetary benefit.
Yes.
That's only because we decided to start with the SIL.
I know you think money talks.
Yeah,
But yes,
sorry,
for me,
I don't disagree with this, and I'm not against a neighbourhood plan. I said this this last time.
No,
I believe
I'm
it
not
is good
suggesting
faith.
that, but I think
It's
we
simply
need
that
to
we
look
should-
further, and I do agree with everything that you've said.
Great.
Yeah, and just to add a bit of context, the SIL that we have received has been actually very small, and we have, some of us weren't here, but what we have spent it on has been repairs to footpaths, there's a donation for IT equipment as well. So we have found stuff to spend it on, but yeah, it's a fair point about we should anticipate what we could spend this on, so when it does come in, it doesn't lag and sits there, and that it comes in and we spend it on what we agree that we can spend it on.
And to Leslie's point actually, which was a really good one about we've tried to allocate, but when we allocate it with, for example, the county council, we never know whether it's spent or not.
Yes.
So actually our planning should be, well, how do we do it in a really constructive fashion that will work financially and be beneficial to parishioners?
Because ultimately that's why we're here.
But this is a neighbourhood plan question, not a how do we spend the SIL question, really.
No, but it's a good discussion to have.
Yeah,
It is.
It feels like it's all part and parcel of the same overall plan that governs how we should be helping parishioners get best benefit for the amount of money being put into this body.
And I think we do need to justify the spend. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
How do we go about this?
Yes, quite.
So what I would suggest is, Leslie, I think you said there are 2 points. One of them is to approve the initial piece of work by ACRE to do the assessments and get us to a point of a really good understanding of costs, etc. So I would move to vote on that, and I would happily propose that we do that.
I'll second that.
I think we did need Chris back in for that, because he's only excused himself from part A, I think.
Pass, sorry.
Obviously
Shall I
the
go and get
agenda,
Chris then?
well, the
Is that
agenda
right?
item does say proposal obviously to approve A and then to approve B. So we do need to have a vote as to whether we do approve part A or not.
Sorry.
That is the proposal on the agenda.
Can we defer part A?
I was going to ask
We
the
have
same
already
question.
deferred since last month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can defer again if we need to do more work.
We can. Some of the problem obviously we have had is that we are deferring quite a lot, which is partly why the agendas are starting to get very long, is we're deferring from previous months and then we had new business coming in. So we do have to
I
come
think
to a
following the
point.
discussion, and although I am part on the neighbourhood plan as well, given what we've discussed and the very good conversation we had, we should defer A and vote on B. That gives us a reset. Then we can go and how quickly that turns around, and then A could appear on next month's agenda.
I agree.
Do you
Okay.
think that's more
Yes.
pragmatic?
Yes.
Yeah.
So would you like to propose that we defer part A
Yes.
then?
Yes. Should we
Okay,
defer
so
part A?
proposal to
Yeah.
defer
I'll
and a
propose-
seconder to defer part
Yeah.
A. Okay, all those in favour? Okay.
And then we're going to go.
Right. So part B of the neighbourhood plan proposal is to approve the appointment of Cambridgeshire Acre to initiate task 1 of their support quotation. This will enable the catnip team to make further progress. So we have ended up sort of discussing this a little bit in your absence, Chris, which I did ask councillors to stop until you arrived on this. So a little bit, not enough, not a lot. Are there any other points to be made on part B as to whether we should approve, or Chris, do you have any questions on this?
I didn't have
Any
any
comments?
questions. I mean, the detail that was provided was fairly clear.
Okay.
It looked a reasonably substantive body of work.
Okay. So if we're happy to take a vote on part B, could I have a proposer? The proposal is to approve that appointment. Do we have a proposer, please?
Yep.
So Dan proposing. Do we have a seconder? Claire seconding. And all those in favour? Okay, and myself, thank you very much. So there is a contract which, as our proper officer, I think Ramuna can sign the contract, yes. So I did print that off for you.
Can I just ask, when do we expect, maybe can I ask Mike, or do I ask you, Leslie, when can we expect to engage with ACRE?
They've said,
Just for everybody's background.
yeah. I did print it off somewhere. Bear with me just one moment.
January.
They did say when they sent everything in, when they sent their agreement, obviously,
Yes,
in
no,
the hope that
just
we would,
for everybody, yeah.
that they would complete the work between the 5th of January and the 31st of January. That
Okay.
day,
Right,
that
so
day's
it's quite a
work.
big window.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we would hope that it will be at the beginning of the window,
Yes.
and then their terms of payment is 30 days once the work is done. So
Might be useful to ask them if they could possibly do it at the start of the window.
we will
so
be
that
asking them to
so
do
that
it as
we
soon as
have
possible.
the more information for our next meeting.
Sorry?
Otherwise, it will knock on again, won't it?
Yes, that's
Thank you.
agreed. Yeah.
I think as soon as they have the signed agreement, hopefully they will be doing it sooner rather than
Yeah.
later. Thank you very much.
So I will scan it and send it over to them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
'Cause they wrote to you direct, didn't they, with
I've
that?
got the contacts.
Lovely, thank you very much. And when you do...
I'll copy
Yes,
you.
actually, could you copy me in and then I know
I
when
will
it's
do.
gone. Thank you. So, I think that is everything to do with planning completed there. So item 154, proposal to approve the application received from the Pop-Up Pub Community Volunteer-led Committee for the Racehorse Pub to be designated as an asset of community value. So we have already had their application. We've seen the application that they've completed, but it does need to be sent from the Parish Council. They've already mentioned about the survey evidence that we had from the community, from the parish survey, but that survey didn't specifically ask if the community wanted it to be designated, just did they value having the pub. So last month the council asked the Pop-Up Pub Committee if they could go one step further and petition the village about whether people felt that it should be actually designated. So we've now had the results of that petition, and 104 people signed the petition saying yes. So does anybody have any comments at all? Any further comments on this? So we did discuss it quite a bit last month.
Yeah, my thought was that showed enough following within the village that we should support that application. That's my opinion.
Right, how many have we got? 300 and... how many adults do we have?
It's 314 electors that we now have, which was just confirmed because of what we've done on SIL.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good proportion.
Mm.
Any other comments at all?
No, just to say that they went away, they did what they said they were going to do, so
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah.
They worked really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we should minute the efforts that they did.
Yeah.
So do I have anyone to propose that approval, please?
I propose.
So Dan, any seconder? Seconder for that? Claire seconding, and all those in favour? Yes, thank you. Passed. We will sort that out. So the documentation needs to go to HDC, I believe, which does need to come from the Parish Council.
Yeah, do we need to look over it? Because there's some spelling.
There are some spelling
Yeah.
mistakes in there, and
Yeah.
whether the application just needs a little bit of refinement,
Yeah.
just to incorporate now the
Absolutely.
extra information they've got.
Yes.
I know, Dan, you were the first person who presented this to
Yeah.
us in the first place.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Have
My
you got the time to do that? Or has anybody
I'm
else?
still street lighting a lot, to be honest.
I know you've got a lot of work on that. Okay, I mean, I can do that, not till next week or the week
Yeah,
after.
I think
But
that's fine.
I break up from school the end of this week, so from next week I have a bit more spare time.
The original wording, did that come from the Pop-Up Pub Committee?
Yes, it
So
did.
would it not be better to put it back to them to do a redraft to include the extra information?
Yes, yeah, there was some spelling mistakes as well. So
Yeah.
yes.
But that's okay.
I
They-
did tell them that.
Okay. So I mean,
Awkwardly.
I'm happy to work with them on that, because obviously essentially it then has to come from the parish council. So I'm happy to work with them on that. So I know Simon came here today, but Paul Murphy came before. Who's the person who's leading that? Do you know?
I think they've been doing it together.
They've been doing it together.
Yeah.
Okay. I will contact both of them.
Yeah.
then.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you very much. Item 155, implementation of Martin's Law. We mentioned this last month, and Councillor Chris Bales offered, when he has the chance, to have a little look at that and give us some advice.
So
I know you've been very busy with planning.
I did
things
send
for
that
us.
in on Sunday.
Right,
Because of the
okay.
confusion, it's not got now.
Right.
There's a couple of recommendations in there, but I would probably suggest that for this evening, we just park that one and come back to it next month, if you're all in agreement.
Yeah, happy to defer that.
It gives
I'd
people
like
a chance
to
to
read.
read it as
Yes,
well. And
absolutely.
my apologies that documentation didn't arrive with you in time.
No, that's fine. That's lovely. Okay, thank you very much, Chris. We'll look forward to reading that. Thank you. Item 156, Clerk's report. The clerk and I attended the HDC's Climate Change Conference on Wednesday the 5th of November, which was just prior to last meeting, but it was too close for us to have reported back. As far as that report is concerned, I just have some verbal comments really to make on that. There were various speakers who came forward. It was very much all about waste minimisation the whole day, and various different organisations involved with that. So Warboys Parish Council, for instance, gave a very interesting talk on how they built a new community building and the actions they took to make it as sustainable as possible. So they put a lot of work into making it renewable, everything recyclable, yes, powered by solar and all that sort of thing, which did cost them a lot more money. So it was very interesting talk there. We also had to talk from Wild About Hunts, who have been putting solar canopies on car parks, and their bin lorries and similar lorries are all now powered by alternative sources, as in not fossil fuels. So there was also some other waste minimisation department from Hunt HDC, who talked about recycling for all the waste and how everybody can make a difference, and they encourage everybody to recycle as much as possible, which is why we will be getting food waste bins coming through next April as well. Stupely Primary School head teacher came and gave a talk about an initiative they've got at school to encourage children as far as food waste is concerned and not to waste too much food, and all the sorts of things they've got going on to minimise that. They talked about water management, and then we also had Midlow Grange Farm came to talk to us about their sustainable farming practices. So there's lots there. They did send through their slides. Unfortunately, it was actually too big, and they did say they were having problems sending it through, so I was hoping just to be able to forward those. But yes, so they're very interesting days. Anything that's actually pertinent to us, HDC will send through. So that's about all we have to report on that, really. Have you got anything else to add at all?
No.
No.
Very good brief, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Moving on to finance and budget reports. So the Finance Advisory Group has met twice and exchanged quite a lot of emails in between times, looking at our draft budget for 26 to 27. So I think all councillors were sent the budget through. We apologise, we only meant to forward the actual document rather than all the emails between us as well. So sorry, councillors, if you tried to wade through our individual comments we've been making to each other as to should we do this, should we do that. So
I think it was
apologies
useful, to be
about
honest.
that.
I'm glad you found it useful, Dan.
I did.
So I'm sorry for the extra reading we didn't intend.
And if you read it, well done.
I did.
Good.
I needed to as well.
Right, should we
So,
take on with
shall I
this?
pass over
Yeah,
to-
so if
yeah.
you've had a chance to look at it, fantastic. If you haven't, we'll quickly go through it. We are not going, just so we're clear, we are not proving this tonight. We've got this till the 16th of January, so we've got a bit of Christmas reading, and then we can approve it at the next council meeting in January. Okay? So, there's 2 sheets of paper that you've got. The one with the more detailed numbers on shows from right to left the net expenditure or income for the financial years ending 2022 across the 25. So those are the numbers that have been audited and have been submitted to the relevant people. Okay, so that shows along the middle of the document that we had some net income in 22, expenditure, net income. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, you see the precept, the increase over the previous years as well. So the 25, 26 over the previous year is 6%, 4%, and it stays static in a couple of years ago. If we now look at the middle block where we've got current year, we've got the validated budget and the latest forecast that the finance group prepared on the 1st of December, and it shows that we are quite a long way from what we budgeted for. So we budgeted an outflow of cash on that year of 2.3. With the latest forecast is an outflow of cash of 9.2, a variance of 7. That variance of 7 is made up of 4 core items. That is the election costs, which were 2.7, an element of the repayment of the neighbourhood plan grant. So although it says 2.3 in there, an element of that is actual expenditure and an element of repayment, which is 1.6. An increase of costs relating to the clerk as a result of 2 elements, which are overtime, which is driven by the induction of new councillors on one element and freedom of information request on the other, and also the anticipated payout of a significant number of hours that have been accrued over the years, in plural, which we've come to an agreement whereby a third of that is going to be paid as holiday pay, and the other elements of the hours that have been brought forward are going to be taken as staggered and used. Okay. So that's why there's a variance of our best estimate or best forecast versus the actual budget. Any questions so far? Because I'll take questions on email afterwards as well, obviously. So then if we look at the block on the left, which is the proposed budget, so the way that we've done this is to build up from anticipated costs. So there's quite a large line that says other costs, which are described down the bottom, which encompass lots of subscriptions and maintenance, etc., etc. So to stand still, the precept at the top has to be increased significantly. So that's to break even, to do exactly, to match the income with the expenditure. So if we take that as our starting point and then work backwards and say, right, we're not going to go with the proposed increase that the maths works out, and then if we go with a 10%, 15%, etc., etc., as you can see in the table below. So where, if we look at line 6, a 10% increase would give an absolute increase in the precept of just under 1,700. The precept would go up to 18,000, and the net position would have an outflow of cash of 5.9k. And then you can look through the tables there. So if we then look at the costs that are making up that anticipated precept, you can see there that we've got salary, and I'm not going to read all the numbers out. We've got salaries, we've got street line running costs. So the bulk of the costs are taken up with 2 line items. If you go back to 2022, you can see the increase in the street light running costs as an example. And you can also see, obviously, the increase in the salaries as well. Then if we cut down, what we've done is we've put in 3 fairly large numbers in there to cover 1,700 for the section 137, which is 50% of what we're allowed to spend under that. So you multiply a rate which is around about £11 per electorate, and it comes out at about 3.5k. So we've said, right, everything else being equal, let's assume that we're going to spend 1,500. Bear in mind, this is a budget at the moment. Okay, it's just a forecast. Every number can be challenged. Then parish elections. We've anticipated that there'll be a parish election for May next year as well. So we're providing for that. And then the contingency. So a contingency has always been planned, but never really spent. So if we go back to 2024, there's a value of 2.9k, which was actually spent, which is a contingency, which is the contribution to the playing fields, playground equipment that was actually spent. So the advice is to have a contingency in there to cover, obviously, contingencies, which are unknown expenditure, which, as you can see for this year, we are still forecasting that we've got that contingency there of 1,600. So, again, this is our best estimate. Some of these numbers in the middle column may not actually crystallise. That 1,600, for example, might not crystallise, but we know that some have. So, for example, the grass cutting is aligned to the actual validated budget. We know we're not going to spend over that. So there's a lot to absorb in there, and I'm just going to add a little bit more of a complication. Is that the cash that we have got in the bank at the end of a certain period is analysed between two elements. One is an earmarked reserve, which is the SIL, which, as we've touched on previously as well, and there's another element of an earmarked reserve, which is the parish pathways plan, something like partnership, PPP. Okay, so that's what those two elements are in that line item where it says total EMR. Earmarked reserves. You'll notice that the SIL has actually gone up to 4819. We haven't received any money, unfortunately. It's an error that was made because we submitted and they accepted that the amount was incorrect because we'd claimed and submitted the VAT, which we're allowed to do, but on the declaration we should have submitted it net. So consequently, we've now got more SIL to spend, but we should have spent it by the beginning by the end of last year. So we need confirmation that that amount there of it's on the next page, of 1491 is highlighted in the bottom left. That whether we can spend it in 25, 26, or whether we have to refund that money to HDC. So either way, the money's got to be spent or returned. Okay, so that's why the SIL has gone to 6.1, and then we've got a general reserve of 9k. Best estimate forecast at the moment. So again, to stand still, it's going to take a substantial increase in the precept. But again, the sensitivity analysis down the bottom left-hand side will show. So there are some variables in there, but again, it's about being frugal with the money and whether some of the costs that are shown in the middle column, the latest estimate, will crystallise, and the one that may not is the contingency of 1,600.
So I think it's fair to say that our actual spending over certainly the last couple of years has exceeded what the budget was each year.
No, that's not true.
Is that not right?
No, because as we can see on the net expenditure lines in 2025, we had a surplus of 5891. So we received more income than we actually spent, but then there's timing issues because there's a big chunk of that is the VAT. Okay, so the costs that are in the table's proposed draft and current year are net of VAT. The costs and income relating to the financial years, the 4 financial years there's a big chunk of VAT recovered, and that VAT is high because of two elements. One, the capital expenditure on the street lights, and then the running costs of the street lights as well. So the things that weren't forecasted in the budget, which then set the precept for 2025-26, were, as I mentioned earlier, the election, the repayment of the neighbourhood plan grant, which we had to repay anyway because it wasn't spent. salary increase and a laptop and a few little bits and pieces, about balance out.
Is it okay to ask a question?
Of course it is, Claire. I will try my best to answer them.
Okay, just simply on the parish election, which we've got coming up in May.
Yeah.
Why is the proposed budget so much less than the actual cost of it this year?
Great question.
Because I don't think it will be any different.
Yes, it will, but Leslie, do you want to?
That, yes. Because when we had the elections this year, it was a by-election just for Catworth, so we bore the whole cost of HDC providing the election services for us. When we go to elections next year, HDC will also be having elections at the time, so the costs will be shared. So
Okay.
HDC have informed us that we should allow for £1,500
Fair enough,
if
thank
it
you
goes
very
to
much.
election. So it's not as much.
So a quick observation that may affect the numbers. The recent communication from Hunts DC about SIL indicates that we can use it to cover maintenance costs, and we explicitly have some maintenance costs that are presently in the non-SIL part of the budget. So specifically the repairs to village assets and defect maintenance, and also potentially grass cutting costs. So the net cost between the contribution by Hunts DC and whatever is left. I'd suggest we could consider that coming under the SIL as opposed to mainline budget.
I agree with you, and this is new information that came across this morning, as you would have seen as well. The SIL documentation, as I mentioned earlier, is quite ambiguous, but if we can, to Ollie's good point, is put as much of the SIL, because we've still got to spend it, and if they do come back and say you don't bother returning the whole of the 1,500 there, we allocate it out to those projects as well.
We do have an item on the agenda, about 2 items away, to talk about the SIL as well.
What
So
it
it's
does show
difficult to-
is that there's a lot of things that are quite new that we're all learning about, but it's the ambiguity on some of these things, such as the SIL and the 137 that we're getting to, and consequently we will have done so by the time of the 16th of January. So there's a lot to absorb at quite a late hour, but please do so, and I can send you the whole working paper file if you're curious as well. I think the key thing here is that what we have to put in is a one number without any detail on one piece of paper that goes off to HDC. Now that number, as we've seen on here, is quite broad, but we need to be somewhat clever with the funds that we've got as well, because you could argue the PPP of the 1,300 has lapsed. You could argue that. You could argue that hopefully we're going to get that £1,500 that we can spend, and let's spend it wisely to make stuff better. Okay.
So as far as the finance group is concerned, we haven't given just one recommendation here. You will see at the bottom left there, we've given several options. Percentage-wise, can look quite large, but if you look at the actual amount, it's not actually a huge amount in monetary terms,
So just to give
as
you,
far as if you were to then spread it across the whole, obviously the whole parish.
so accounts level D property in the village is the contribution that it makes via its council tax is £101 to the running of Catworth Parish Council
So that's at the moment.
at the moment.
So it would be about £240.
If
we went for the whole.
maximum, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's legacy, and none of us were here when we talked about the various elements that have gone in the past. And we can't dwell on it because it's happened. But again, it's a decision that we've got to make. Not tonight, though. It's takeaway homework.
And a final observation, if we want to use S137 to cover the neighbourhood plan costs. The budget that we proposed is insufficient to do so.
Well, just on that, bearing in mind the precept on the number that's proposed in there at the moment, that's to break even, so we will still have reserves of 9 in there.
Agreed, but just in terms of what we put in the
What
budget,
was
is 1,700, and what we were
Absolutely.
talking about earlier was 3,000.
Yes.
Section
It's just
137, it is acceptable to take that out of reserves from the information that we got through today.
It is up to the maximum
Up
limit.
to the maximum
There.
limit we're allowed to,
Yeah.
which is round about just over £3,000.
And I would suggest we should budget for it, if that's what we're going to intend to do.
Yes. Bearing in mind, just again, I say bearing in mind because there's quite a big lump in the middle there, the 1,600, which we've still got as contingency. So obviously, if that doesn't come through in the year, that comes down to the general reserves.
Comes down into it, yeah.
So there's a lot of numbers behind there, which is why the group all number in the shaded element there is it looks a little bit variable, but it's pretty static if you look at the validated budget, because it does include the laptop, which was 650.
So what we haven't looked at is places where we could perhaps save money, cut funding, where we do at the moment, where we pay for things at the moment. Do we need to be spending as much as that? So those are things that perhaps we can all consider over the course of the next month.
Yes, I'm obviously trying hard with the street light thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit disappointing to say that that's actually sat for, I think, was it 2022 that the street lights were replaced?
Mm.
So we've been overpaying for our energy since then, possibly by up to 50%.
Keep going, Dan.
No, so,
Yeah, so
no,
well
so
done,
I've done it.
Yeah, if you need some help.
I've pulled a few all-nighters in the
Have you?
last week
Well, that's-
working on this.
Yeah, that's great.
I've been in contact with the DNO, which is UK Power Networks.
Yeah.
So we have to submit. I'll leave this actually till
Yes, okay.
further
Thank
on.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But yes.
I'm working on that, and hopefully we can save quite a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'll also try to get some refund if we can as well, but I don't know quite how successful that will be.
The other thing we talked about was potentially grass cutting as well.
Yes.
Cutting costs on grass cutting.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have did you manage to get a copy of the contract? Okay.
It's on the jobs to do, scans.
Yes, so my intent is once we have a copy of the contract, then we can suggest, what should next year look like and move forward. Yes, I agree. A question, Dan. My understanding of the way that UK Power Networks charges the electricity for the streetlights is that it's a mixture of usage and maintenance. Given that we can charge maintenance to SIL, might we be able to get them to split the charge for energy and maintenance, so we've got 2 explicit invoices for it?
So we've got no maintenance provision currently on the street lights.
I thought we didn't. So if
It's purely energy costs, that.
so as we cancelled, it looks
So
like
the street lights were. I'll do
We'll
this
do
at
this
market
in
rate.
later in years. But yeah. But yes, so other things we can think about to bring our proposed budget down, obviously, is to look at the grass cutting contract. Do we need to be cutting the grass as often? Other than that,
well, the grass cutting.
but that's only a small amount.
But the grass cutting is 50% actually covered, is funded in the past. And yes, it has increased, but we could put that under section 137 because that is the benefit. So I mean, we've got to concentrate on the big ticket items.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got the big numbers.
And also, if you ask the parishioners
Yes.
whether they would like the grass to be cut regularly in the summer, or whether they want to reduce the time that the street lights are on when they're asleep, I know what they'll say.
I've looked at that as well. I've asked for a quote for that.
Yeah, so because it's any reduction in the time of
Yeah.
the street lights will cost us, if you like.
Yeah, because we've got
Yes.
to invest in the technology to
Yes.
do that, which we don't have.
But I
Yeah.
think they would still say do everything you possibly can to reduce the streetlight cost.
Mm. But in some respects, we may have to spend out, we may need to spend more
Yeah, which
in
we
order
can't
to then
really now.
reduce.
No,
So
I'm
it
not
depends how
suggesting
much.
that.
So
Yeah.
it depends how much it's going to cost
And it doesn't
to
have to
actually
be
reduce.
everyone, it could be, selected ones, for example.
Yeah, or some parish councils have made the decision to, although, we've just invested in new street lights, they're switching, key junctions have them still,
Yes.
and then they turn off every other street light
Yes,
completely.
Mm.
Or you turn up, yeah,
But,
precisely.
but the main project for the last 10 years was to get new and more street lights, so that's kind of going against where we've been heading for the last 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've thought about that, and I've inquired about that as well.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm like a traitor now against the previous
Well,
council.
and having used Precept, it was Precept that has spent £32,000 on those street lights as well.
Yes,
Sort of like having spent all that money.
but when they are needed, when people are walking around going to stuff in the evenings, it's one thing.
Mm.
How many people are walking around at 2 in the morning?
Mm.
Yes.
And also you're looking at dark sky projects and all of that sort of, it's seen as an eco climate change positive thing to turn lights off when they're not as essential as
Yep.
at other times.
Which is why we prepared this based on everything else being equal to
Yeah.
stay static.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's the
That's
other,
what you
the
have
other
to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
counterpart. Is you want them on? There's your numbers.
You're happy to have them switched off? Then yes, we can save a load of money.
And other elements.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And so if you've got any questions, you've got the emails, which
You're going to be bombarded.
pardon?
I've got a lot of questions.
Okay.
That sounds like a meeting with coffee.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much to the finance group and especially to Jeff, who's put the bulk of the work in putting all these figures together for us and going back over the historic
Yeah, thank you.
accounts as well for us. So thank you very much. Much appreciated. Next item on finance is to note assertion 10, which is on page 14 of the Practitioner's Guide, about the AGAR and requirements of the Transparency Code for smaller and greater authorities. This has been forwarded to the finance group, but because we've been very busy with the budget, we haven't yet had a chance to have a look at that. So if we could, I think that's just to note, but the Transparency Code we will need to do something with. If we can defer that, please. I think everyone's happy with that.
So I did some work off the back of the training. So that's with you, circulation, dissemination. We're in a reasonable place in terms of it.
On the
because-
assertion 10.
On the
is this?
assertion 10
Yeah.
side.
Okay.
Because it's mostly about operating proper domains and email systems, which we do. It looks like the domain's set up correctly in the most robust way. The only potential is where you start looking at the accessibility. So we need to do a little bit, not a massive amount, a little bit of work on the website. I've put a proposal together as how we can get from where we are today to audit ready by April.
Right. Okay, thank you very
So
much.
that's there ready
Okay.
for you to read.
So is that for us to have a look at next month then?
Yeah, so
Yes.
I've sent it all,
Thank you.
but it will only reach you when I'm in internet zone, so.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you for that,
No
Chris. We will all have a good read once we get it. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Item 157.3 to note the bank balances, bank reconciliation, income and expenditure and financial comparison reports which the clerk has issued to the councillors, giving us a current balance as of the 30th of November of £24,106.38 in the bank. Next item 57.4. We talked last month about, and the finance group have talked amongst themselves as well, that it would be helpful if some of our regular bills were on direct debit rather than having to keep authorising them every month when It's
yeah,
not
they
something we can
they
really change too
call
much.
and chase us every month because our meeting falls.
Because sometimes our meeting is just
Yeah.
after, yes. So certainly for N-Power on the electricity for the moment,
Yeah, they told
to
me.
put it onto direct
They said that
debit.
we were overdue when I spoke
Well,
to them
then
this
we're
week.
always overdue, but we always pay.
Mm.
but-
We always pay, it's
Yeah.
just it's
That's the
after
first thing
the...
they said.
Yeah.
Do you know that you haven't paid your bill?
Mm.
I don't know why it's not on direct debit, so it makes sense. There's no discount, unfortunately, like we,
No.
as we are, you know, normal people for the paying by direct debit, but it's just more efficient.
So we have a direct debit form here.
They circulated the form.
So that will need signing by 2 authorised signatories, I think, because it's a direct debit for the bank, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't recommend. I'd recommend we don't do that for now
Okay,
because I'm exploring different
Okay.
companies
fine,
Right.
okay,
to reduce the cost.
Okay.
yeah,
So we're,
Yeah,
Good
don't,
idea.
don't do
Right.
that now.
okay.
okay. Wait for action from DG. But
Brilliant. Thank you.
thank you, Dan.
I'll
Thank you.
keep the form safe.
157.5 to approve December 2025 payments. They are listed on the agenda, totalling £1,986.
So I've got a quick question about the final line item there, which is printer ink cartridges. Are they exclusively Catworth use, or should they be spread across the parishes?
So each parish council buys a set a year, and that's how we work it out.
Okay. How about we go electronic and we stop printing everything?
Or I need to print minutes and things sometimes.
Do we?
I try not to print as much, but the minutes need to be signed, so accounts need to be invoices for auditor, but I try not to print if I can not to print.
Even HMRC can now go paperless. I wonder if we could take the incredible leap to do the same thing and maybe electronically sign things. I'll leave it out there to think about, but there's 200 quid immediately that we wouldn't otherwise need to spend.
But you said this is what, just once every 3 years? Then for
Every
us,
year.
Because every year, every parish council is paying 200 quid for it.
Oh, every year
Yeah,
each parish
it's in the
council is
budget,
paying that.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I
Or
thought it
it
was...
jumps into another year, so we just when it
right,
finishes.
okay.
So it's one bill a year. And we share printer which is provided by Buxton because Catworth died off.
Okay. It does seem a lot, actually, £200 for printing.
Well, that's not including paper,
No,
power
exactly.
and all the rest of it.
Or you just print black and white and not go colour.
Okay. Something we can look at. Thank you. So, do I have an approver for these payments, please?
Yes, I approve, yeah.
Okay, Jeff
Yeah.
first, and a seconder, please,
Oh,
Chris.
lovely, thank you.
And
Yeah, sorry, I didn't spot the home fields on,
no,
so I need
no,
to.
you can't.
No.
You don't usually vote
So I
on
need
this.
to put a declaration of interest on that one. Sorry.
I'll scroll up and add that in. Yeah, that's fine, thank you. Yeah, lovely.
Thanks.
All those in favour? Thank you.
Who's going to do it? Presumably
So-
the payments are set up, are
Yes, they are,
Yeah.
yeah.
they? Thank you.
So we said we'd sort of like keep circulating it. I know Home Fields is on here, but authorising the payment, the actual payment, is different to us actually
Yeah.
approving the payment. So, so I don't think there's an issue with you doing that because you're not the only one who's authorising it.
Yeah, if it's been approved.
Because yourself and Ollie, I think, haven't yet
Yeah,
had a go.
agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So it's
right.
your turn.
Sure. Yeah.
One thing I think
I think
the
we've
rest
got
of us
the card
have
reader.
found when we come to do it for the first time is it doesn't work very well through the app. It's better if you log in and do it through the web. And then generally it then works. So, I mean, I've always found it's worked, certainly if I use the card reader. Chris, I think you do it through two-factor authentication,
I
don't
do.
you? You do it that way, and that worked as well.
Yes.
Yes. but better to go on through the web.
Okay.
Any problems at all, let me know. Yeah, it's on the main authoriser under the account. Lovely, thank you very much. 158, SIL. Firstly, to note the action taken by the Finance Advisory Group. We have made a voluntary declaration to HDC in respect to the incorrect reporting which we mentioned earlier, to do with the way that that has been reported. We have had a reply from them, but I don't think it actually answered our question.
Does anyone want a further explanation on this, that, or are you okay on it?
No.
Right. I know you're not okay, or no, you don't.
No, I'm fine.
Okay,
I
good.
did have a question though on the SIL though.
Yeah.
Is this the SIL that we've spoken about that we have spent, but we just haven't had the bills for? Is it?
Well,
No.
it's allocated, so it
Right.
hasn't been spent. So
So this,
yeah.
this is about the declaration that we have put in on what has actually left the bank.
Yeah.
Okay. But what we should have done is put the declaration in net
Yeah.
rather than gross.
I get that bit,
So,
yeah.
So now what we've got is we've got the confirmation back of, I think from memory it's like £147.24 or something. They said that we can carry forward and spend in 25, 26, which is obviously, you know, we're nearly there. But this amount here, the 1,343.70, we want them to confirm that we can also carry that forward and spend in this year, because it's a 5-year limit. So I'd rather they haven't.
Have they not confirmed?
We haven't clearly asked them.
Okay.
We need to go back and say to them, I want you to confirm that the total of the 150 or 1.5k so can be spent in the current year outside of those rules, and then we start spending.
Yeah.
Rather than writing the cheque or the bank payment to refund it back to them. We'd rather spend it on stuff that we've got commitments for. So I think we did the right, well, I know we did the right thing.
So we're waiting for a response.
So I'm happy to write the email to be really clear with the request, because at the moment it's not clear. Yeah? Okay.
Yes, please. That would be helpful. Thank
I'll do
you.
that.
And then, as well as that, we have received notification from HDC that our report for the year 1st of April 24 to 31st of March 25 is due in. So that, again, the finance group is dealing with that report. So Ramuna, have you sent that now?
For the financial year ending 31st, yes I did, and I asked for all the questions, and I only got one answer, so we'll ask again.
We'll ask again.
Yeah. Just as confirmation. Okay, thank you very much. And that's due by, we've already put that in, so that's fine. Good, thank you. So we come on to policies. So we've had this going on, various approvals going on for a little while. Unfortunately, we've now got some new policies also come in. Because as our new time would be getting on, I suggest that new policies we take a look at in January. So we have a grants and donations policy and a bring your own device policy. Is everybody fine to wait till January to look at those? Okay, thank you. And then outstanding annual reviews. We have standing orders.
We've got
Chris. So Chris has asked if I could have some input into that with him, which we will do before the next meeting.
Yes.
Yes. So that one deferred to the next meeting, please. New model financial regulations. I think finance group are going to look at this, but again, we've been very busy with the budget. So this one again, if we can forward that one on. Yeah. Code of conduct policy.
Is done and shared with everyone.
Thank you very much. I know that was quite late on today. Has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I've read it.
No.
No. Okay. So can we make sure we do for next time then, please, on that one? So defer that one for next time, please. Probably the same again. Thank you very much, Ollie. You've done a lot of work. The risk assessments, I know you've sort of completely rewritten those and simplified
So
them.
160.
The financial risk assessment, and that's the same with the finance group.
So
Yeah.
just on that one, the more I delve into the finances, the more stuff is being added to the list. So once I get to the point where I'm happy, then as a result of that, I will say. So just to give you a really simple example, is there's a lot of old people, not old people as in age, but old people that are on the banking, so it's clearing up the banking mandates, which is nearly done. It's also looking at the templates on the banking, and you'll have a look at that, no doubt, I recommend you do, and you see that there's some old templates on there that haven't been used, so we're retaining people that we may have paid in the past. So it's about the annual or the biannual tidy up of the stuff that's in the banking tools as well. So that's will form part of the risk assessment as well.
Housekeeping. Good housekeeping.
Yes, and then also when you're validating the bank payments, is to check that the bank accounts are obviously aligned to what's on the invoices that you receive as well. So a good way of behaving, should we say.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
So
you very much.
unfortunately it's not finalised because I keep finding stuff.
Okay, thank you.
But we've got a live one anyway, so that's good.
And then Ollie has been dealing with a lot of risk assessments, simplified them, rewritten them for us. Again, I know that came through this afternoon.
Just one note on that is
yeah.
the MVAS I've shared with Mike as being the team leader for that feedback, so that may still change, but the other three should be fine.
Okay, thank you. So I know I haven't had a chance to compare them with what we've done before.
Yeah, they're good. Thank you. Thanks for doing
But
that.
yes, that's really
What was the typo?
Use the template from another.
attributed the
Eliminated
foot
the
on.
document.
Oh, okay.
So I just rewrote it, but we forgot to change the header.
That's okay.
Okay.
So if we could look to validate those next time, please. Civility and respect protocol policy was one of yours, I think, Chris.
So you and I had a discussion
Yeah.
on that. We came to an agreement that the wording was all right as it was. So I've topped and tailed it into a templated document,
Yeah.
and then that's either gone round or going round.
So that's going round, so we should have that for next time. Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you very much. And then we have policies for meetings with the developers, pre and post application. I don't think anyone has actually offered to take that one on board at the moment.
I think that was me.
Okay.
What volunteer?
I think I did. I think I volunteered in August, but life has got in the way.
That's okay.
I'll have that for next. I'll get it sorted. I mean, it's a fairly
Lovely.
new policy anyway.
Yes.
It really doesn't need a lot doing to
I
it.
think with some of the policies, what
I'll
we've been
just check
doing
it
over
through.
the last few months is doing the standardised formatting as much as
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So if you have a look at a couple of that have been done, just getting that in for us. Yeah. And recommendations if there's any changes. Thank you. Cybersecurity checklist and website accessibility. That's probably with all your other email as well.
So the
Chris, you've been working
checklist
on that.
is due review. So I'm waiting on feedback from that, with it being a brand new policy. And incorporating some of the IT policy elements, trying to ratify it into one document that covers the whole thing rather than it being piecemeal in multiple documents.
Right.
We'll just lose track of it otherwise. Website accessibility statement is the output from the assertion 10. So that is some words that are currently sitting on a particular page on the Catworth Parish Council website. They need updating a little bit in line with the new standard. The standards evolved from 2018 to 2025, so it comes in April, so we need to be ready for it.
Right.
But I've put together a plan of how, or the steps we need to go through to get to being compliant and ready for audit in April.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, so I mean we have a lot of new governance, not just documents but generally new governance coming in, don't we? Giving us a lot of work that doesn't seem to directly benefit the parish as such, but essential that we do these things. Thank you very much, everybody. Very much appreciated. Highway issues in the village. Number 1, National Highway Social Value Fund. I chased up National Highways again last week, having done so prior to the previous meeting. The National Highways officer also is waiting for what they call panel to reach decisions on who is getting funding. So that is still ongoing, still pending, I'm afraid, that one. Part 2, capitally funded highways maintenance fund that we were advised of by Cambs County Council. They have a fund. Applications close midnight tomorrow about any large projects that we think they should be doing. So it's not anything that we're going to have to fund at all. So if anybody has any suggestions at all on this and is able to submit something by midnight tomorrow.
That will be no.
Do we have any suggestions at all on any major things they should be doing within our parish? No? Ollie?
No,
No.
thank you.
No? Okay, so nothing going there at the moment. Okay. Part 3, to note for action in January meeting, please. Ongoing HGV issues in the village. We know that HGVs are a problem. We need to really start thinking about this at some point. But if we could defer that to January, please, in view of the length of the current agenda. Thank you. Council assets 162. Again, just for everybody to start thinking about, is note for action in January to consider and approve the quotations and suggestions that Ollie has for whether we repair, replace or don't replace the broken public bench. Again, if we can leave that till January to discuss, please, if we're all happy with that. I think there's nothing urgent on that one, thank you. Likewise with village communication, something that has been raised is the best way of communicating with the village. Again, if we can discuss that in January, please. Unless we have any other observations. So, moving on to receive reports on matters not already dealt with earlier in the meeting, arising from individual portfolio responsibilities. Highways, I think, is mainly Janine. I know she's away at the moment. She has been going round and looking at drains and reporting them as blocked. When I met with Ian Gardner on the trees earlier in the week, he noted some fairly big potholes that are getting larger, so he said again if we can report those. So as Janine's away at the moment for a little while, I will have a wander around the village once I'm on my school holidays. A lot of them were reported back in August and Cambs County Council said they weren't big enough, but Ian Gardner has said try again.
There's a big one near the church, isn't there now?
That was the one that
yeah, I went down that one.
Yeah.
When I was turning around, it was full of water, so I didn't like
you can't see it, no.
Yeah.
And it's getting big, that particular one. So yes, that's the first one I will report.
Yeah, I tried reporting a blocked drain and I filled it all out, uploaded the pictures, and then it wouldn't submit. So I tried again yesterday.
Can be, yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
So the other problem with particularly the road out towards the A14 is not only are the potholes, quite deep potholes along the edge, but there's a lot of currently a lot of mud on the road that makes the road quite slippery, and I had a bit of a traction issue morning before last as I went out because of mud on the road. Now, Power Networks have been really good, and the team that have worked up studiously from Kimbolton up through us and beyond, and usually they've cleared the road very well, but just the last couple of days on that stretch it's been a little bit dicey, so I think what I'll do is, as an individual, I'll write to them and ask them just to be careful with that.
It's tricky, isn't it? I mean, it's gone really wet, and they're pushing the traffic right over. You get big HGVs, they're going and having to go on the verge, and
It breaks away the edge of the road as well.
Yeah, that's terrible there now.
Really
isn't it?
bad, really bad.
If you meet a lorry coming the other way,
It's
there's not a lot of road
The
left, is
couple
there?
near your place are just horrendous, aren't they?
Is that not something we can go back and
Yeah.
tell
well,
them?
I was going to
Hands up
say,
down
I
there?
mean, the
maybe.
edges of the roads, I mean, all the way to Kimbolton, actually, all the edges
Yeah.
are really crumbling.
It started last winter when the A14 was being
Yes.
recambered.
Yeah.
The
Is
drainage
that in
sorted.
scope for that
For that
Yeah.
highways maintenance.
Yeah.
I mean, I was wondering. Yes, actually, now you're saying that.
Take some photos and...
Because North
if anyone's around
Bedfordshire,
tomorrow, then
I
in
drive
daylight.
around North Bedfordshire quite a bit,
Yeah.
and they had a programme a couple of years ago, and they did all the edges. So they had sort of like, I suppose about 3 foot, 2 to 3 foot. So they just went slightly onto the verges, renewed that top
Just
part
reinforced.
to reinforce it.
Well, there you go, we've come up with something.
Yeah.
If somebody is in the village tomorrow in daylight, can they...
Unfortunately not.
I'm not. Or members
I mean,
of the
whether it's
public.
something we ask them to look
Yeah.
at, going out from the village, both
Yes.
ways on the B660,
Yeah.
down to the A14, and
It's
then down
particularly
towards
bad
Kimbolton.
towards the A14.
Yeah.
I haven't
Just
looked
as
at
you
the
go before you
application,
go up
but
for the flyover.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the letter that came seemed that it was just they're after suggestions for
Fine,
what they can do.
let's suggest that.
So
Yeah.
what about that?
Is anyone around tomorrow that can take... 'cause-
Well, just an email to start with,
Yeah,
maybe,
or even
and then they might ask for pictures.
Yeah.
Just
Mm.
get our email in, maybe.
So, so I can, well, tomorrow evening I can, so before midnight.
We'll volunteer those.
I will have a look.
Before midnight.
Oh,
Yeah, not after.
oh, it's got to be by 11:59.
Yes.
I'll do it at 11:58. Sorry, 23:58.
Yes.
Yep. Public footpaths, myself, nothing to report. We're not walking at this time of year. MVAS, Mike has submitted the latest data to Ramuna, and she's forwarded it to everybody to have a look at.
Could we have it earlier than on the day next time?
Are you asking me? Or
No, I'm just... It's
Oh.
just yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the
No, that's it. That's just
the reports come through when they come
Yeah.
through,
Yeah.
and then
No, but
yeah,
no more. Just have a bit more. Yeah.
a little bit more notice.
Yes.
Noted. Thank you. Trees and hedges. Ian Gardner has already covered much of what was on my written report, but he's confirmed the meeting that we had. So nothing else to add really on what Ian said. Any questions at all on those trees? Yeah. No. Okay. Thank you.
I must get some new trees.
Yes.
Just get a new tree.
Yep. And
I hope you water it.
grass cutting. Anything going on there at the moment?
So is that stopped now then until the spring?
I believe so.
I think it is subject to knowing what the...
Subject to knowing the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that invoice was for last month, but
Yeah.
missed meeting date, so.
So, but so there's a period where we don't
Yeah.
incur... I'm thinking with
It
my
is.
money hat on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's.
Okay, so there's nothing until
So March, April next
March,
year.
April. Okay, fine.
Okay, so Ollie, you're just waiting for the contract to come through. Lovely, thank you.
Yes.
If I can just come back to streetlights, if that's okay.
Mm.
Yes, because I know you've got quite a bit to say. Winter gritting, anything further on last month
Underway,
going on
so
there?
I'll keep an eye on
Okay,
levels.
okay, thank you very much. Super.
Just remind me who pays for the grids? We don't, do we?
No.
We just asked
No,
for
we
it.
all
We just
just
asked
ask
for it, we
for
just
it.
asked for
We
it,
don't
yeah.
have to pay for
Okay.
it, no.
Okay.
Right, we're all ears on streetlights.
Okay. Yeah, I could probably talk about streetlights all night, but I'll try and summarise.
Please, yeah.
No, I won't. Although Jeff wants me to.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I,
so...
I could limit you like we do the public, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I've mostly worked out what we have now
Great, well done.
from the wedge documentation that we have. So yes, so we're responsible for 33 streetlights, and there are 5 which are county council owned within the village. Currently we're on a deemed usage. The deemed usage is value is given by UK Power Networks, depending on the equipment that you, so the light fittings. Actually, we replaced our light fittings in 2022, but no one ever, probably because they couldn't, I don't know, anyway, no comment on that.
Yeah, okay.
I've gone through it all and I've got all of the data now, and I've sent a draft to UK Power Networks to make sure that I've filled it in correctly. So it's a big spreadsheet with loads of, so it's got all of the detail of every streetlight, including its what 3 words address, easting, northing address, switching regime, charge code, unit type, power consumption, location, loads. So
Someone else likes spreadsheets, not just
I hate
you.
spreadsheets. So yes, in their own particular format. So I've filled all of that in and I've sent it to UK Power Networks. I've rung UK Power Networks and I've not had anything back yet. So I'm waiting for that. There's one light which I've had to go back to Alan Peacock Limited, who fitted the last ones, which is the heritage one outside the church. So that I haven't got a charge code for, which is how they work out the deemed usage from the charge code.
Yeah.
Now the photo cell on the top, which is the bit that tells it to go on in the dusk and dawn, or on and off, also has a charge code, so that's all identified on this spreadsheet here. I also contacted npower, who are an electricity supplier currently. So the agreement we're on is a non-contract agreement at the moment. And I've also contacted a number of other electricity suppliers. Not all of them do it because it's an unmetered supply. Leslie also sent me through a what was it, utility aid, I think it was called. So I've contacted them, they did reply. So I mean, engaged with them as well.
Well, that was quick.
So
They
the
replied
first
quickly.
part is the spreadsheet of the DNO, so UK Power Networks. Once they accept that, they give us a deemed usage value in kilowatt hours. Currently our deemed usage is in excess of 10,000 kilowatt hours, which should equate at our unit rate at the moment to a bill of around £5,000-ish a year. There's no maintenance contract at the moment. Interestingly, in amongst all the information, the hours and hours of reading, it is a requirement that we have them electrically tested every 6 years.
Okay.
So at the moment, we've got there's no maintenance provision or contract in place. With them being LED, they're a lot more reliable, so we probably don't need a maintenance contract, but we need to make sure that we get them electrically tested every 6 years. What else do I know?
So when's that due then? When?
Well,
3
again,
years then?
so
2028?
So of all the information I've got, there is no commissioning documentation for either the ones that were done by Balfour Beatty or Alan Peacock Limited, which are the last ones. So I've got no paperwork as is. It's all quotations and proposals, and so I've asked Alan Peacock Limited for, like, normally you'd get a handover pack. This is what we installed, this is where it is. and I've called them twice and emailed them as well, and I've got nothing back from them either. Anyway,
So has a previous councillor got it?
but I think this is all the information. So this is the paperwork that I got to read through. So that's.
Can I suggest we buy another A4 lever art card, or I might find another one?
We're going to need a new bag.
Anyway, I feel like I'm making good progress, but I'm now being held up by, I'm reliant on third parties. So I've done everything I can now. I can't move forward until UK Power Networks come back and say, yes, Mr. Green, your spreadsheet's correct formatting, you know. Once I've got that, they'll give me the deemed usage, then I can go out to electricity suppliers. I've also, having seen your draft budget earlier, contacted them and asked about the timer functionality on the street lights. Off at midnight until 5 AM is a typical one that councils run.
Okay.
So dark mornings it will come on for a bit and people are starting, you know, getting up and getting ready to work, go to work. You know, generally off, so it comes on at dusk, off at midnight, back on at 5 AM. So how much is that per unit? How much would it be to fit to all of ours? Then I can work out further cost savings. So it's going to be a two-step process.
Great.
Get a billing onto what we've actually got. Can I recover any money? If I can prove with a commissioning certificate that it was done in, you know, November 2022, they were done, am I able to get a refund from Npower? So I need to stay with Npower for now.
Gotcha.
Because otherwise I can't. That's going to be who we would have to go to try and get money back potentially. The unmetered supply is also, there's no standing charge, so the unit rate looks high, but it is high compared to a domestic unit rate per kilowatt hour. But there's no standing charge chargeable on. I'm not sure how they would do that per village or per fitting. Yeah. So I'm attacking various different.
Dan, well done.
Well, I'm not gonna,
Yes,
no, it's
thank
not
you
well
very
done
much.
yet.
No, but
not until I get it over the line.
No, but keep going, because that's a monumental amount of work you've done so far.
Can I just ask, the phone box, who pays for the electricity for the phone box?
Oh, that's probably on the same thing.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you'd included that. Because Mike looks after the defibrillator thing, doesn't he? But something, because we wondered at one point if it was plumbed into our house. I'm not kidding.
No, so the phone box will work on exactly the same thing. So it'll have a charge code. They'll know from when it was a telephone in there.
Yes.
How much electricity roughly it uses.
Yeah, because it was out of commission for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not going to
before
bring
it was
that one
then
up.
plugged back in.
Because that's probably just under the radar.
I just wanted to make you to reassure me that it's not us that's paying for it.
No.
Okay. Well, thank you ever so much,
Yes,
Dan. Obviously, certainly for the sake of the finances of the village, it's really, really important work that you're doing.
No, and I tried to get it over the line for this meeting as well, but unfortunately the people I'm interacting with are slow.
Well, they don't want to charge us less, do they?
No.
Can I, so that if we go for capital investment of having the light switch off, as you suggest, that could come out of SIL, is that right? Because the street lighting project itself, did that come out of SIL?
No.
Street lights is a tricky one.
That was
That
kind of a
comes under our
save.
statutory
No.
spending, doesn't it?
Right.
Street lighting.
I thought from emails we might have been able to put it under SIL, but it didn't come under SIL when it was done.
Yeah.
So it may have missed a trick.
We can't pay monthly bills, but
Yeah.
we can install a street light, for example. That's
So maintenance definitely does.
Yes, but which is why that
Addition to
1500. Yeah,
But this would be an upgrade on infrastructure, not maintenance, wouldn't it? So that could come under SIL?
probably.
probably. Yeah. And
that
it'd be
would
good
have to
if we
check
could
that.
use that 1,500
Mm.
to programme some of them. But the
Yes.
thing is, the balance that is on the sill, excluding that 1,500, has already been committed to other projects. or
Absolutely.
already-
But there's always next year, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
On that front, actually.
If we get some sill, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The it's probably appropriate with street lights. I'll bring it under councillors' questions. Sorry, I've
Okay.
got something else to report on a conversation I had with Ian, which is not on the agenda. So
But
I'll
to
do
your
that under
point, Claire, is
councillors'
it
questions.
worth contacting whoever was the project manager on this? I don't know.
Was it Andrew? You were on
Whether
the
he's got
council longer
something.
than me.
Yeah, he,
Well, Stuart Rupp was councillor then.
Of course.
He
Yes, I
Which
remember.
I've got.
I remember that
handled
being
the
spoken
project.
yeah, there's
of.
documentation from Stuart. There's stuff
But
with
then,
Andrew.
so he took it through to completion, and then when he left, he then handed the papers over to Andrew.
And they're there in the
That's nice.
folder.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I've asked the people that,
Great.
that did it,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
can we, can I have a copy of any commissioning documentation?
But they don't
please?
have it, no.
No, well, they haven't replied.
They haven't, apart,
Okay.
yes,
I've
so
called.
Alan,
So
I've
there's still
called.
hope.
I've spoken to someone.
and they should have it, shouldn't they?
Yeah,
Is
they
the
should have it.
expectation.
Yeah.
That's quite concerning, isn't it?
Right, we will leave it in your very
Thank you.
capable hands.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next item, councillor appointments. We do apparently, as CAPALC are requesting that we appoint a representative, a CAPALC representative, and that person can then suggest opportunities and raise problems with them directly and be the one who gets kept up to date with developments.
I thought that was you, Ramona.
Well, they wanted a councillor to be involved,
Mm.
didn't they? Particularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they've said. So, would anybody like to be appointed as a CAPALC representative?
No, thank you.
Okay, as chair, I will take that
Oh,
on.
well done, Leslie.
A chair's
I
job.
second it.
Okay. Are we all approve?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, a first, a second, and
Yes. Yeah.
yes. Okay, all in.
Yeah, 5 first.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well done.
Whoever takes on chair in the future will always have this job to do then.
That could be
It's by
related.
person, isn't it, rather than by function.
I thought we just voted to run it as a function.
But Ramona,
function of the
you will
chair.
carry on sending the stuff out because you will still receive it and
Yes.
send it out. So hopefully you won't have to do anything. It's a name only
Uh-huh.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And 6.5.2, the HR group, we have 3 members on the group, but to sort of to handle anything and remain quorate, we'd always need 3, and sometimes maybe one of us won't be available. So Councillor Janine Turner has stood in very kindly recently. She is happy to continue full-time as a group member of the group. So I've spoken to her on that. So we should approve that appointment if we could, please. So could I have an approver to appoint her to that group? Dan, and a seconder. Chris, all in favour? Yeah, thank you very much. Trainings, 6.1, to receive any councillors' reports at all since last meeting.
Just the one that I put in for the...
So you've done a written
association
report for us.
Yes.
Lovely, so we will have a look at that for next
Yes.
time then. Thank you very much, Chris. 6.2, to note that the newly adopted IT policy requires training for clerk and councillors. As advised by CAPALC, the clerk attended the training and has shared the information with the councillors. All received and read. Thank you very much. Correspondence. Full list circulated prior to the meeting. Any questions at all on that, on the correspondence list? No? I think there was just one item which was an invite to the MP Ben Obiestricti's round table meeting.
Which you're going to.
Which, yes, I said I will, I'm available then, I can go to that.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions, so that's in January, that you would like me to put to him with regard to the parish, if you can email me before then, please do.
Yeah, I would just say tell him that he's doing a good job. I think I see more of him and him out there doing good things than I've seen of anyone ever.
Any
in that
MPs
position.
before.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people have made that observation
Yeah.
to me as well. Just generally,
Yeah.
yes. Whatever your politics
Yeah,
are,
no,
he's getting
exactly.
out there, he's doing things for the area.
Yeah.
So, yes. Okay, but if there's anything else, anything specific for us, please let me know. Great, thank you. Councillors' questions. So if I can start with Chris. Any questions at all? No. Ollie? No.
No.
Jeff? No. Dan?
No.
No. Claire? No. Okay. I just had an observation as much as a question, is that when I met with Ian Gardner with regard to the LHI, that we have 3 LHI projects that we haven't yet been invoiced for, which is what's clogging up our SIL, because we haven't received the invoices and it's sitting there, and if they don't invoice we're going to have to give it back, which, as we say, is a waste of money. I did talk to Ian about this, and he said they had a similar thing at Graffham. So he's asked me if I can provide him with the details of the 3 projects, and he will go back to County Council and basically give them a deadline. So
If they don't want their money,
Yeah.
then we can keep it and we can spend it on
exactly.
other stuff.
So
Yeah?
he said they ended up
Again,
sitting
we
on
need
money for
real
ages.
clarity
Yep.
on this,
Yeah.
so we
Yep.
avoid the same thing that
Yep.
we've got on the back.
So he's asked me to give him the details, and he will speak to them, and he will put in writing, and he'll copy me in. And he's suggesting giving them a deadline of the 31st of January,
Great.
which will then give us some more clarity then as to, yes, we either pay it or we don't.
Or we, yeah.
Yes, and then if they don't do it by then, he said, he will,
And who's going to write that email then? We are, or Ian is?
he is going to,
He is, with the information that we give to him.
yes.
Fine, okay,
So I said I'll provide him with that information.
okay. Great, thank you.
Anything else? At all? No? Lovely, thank you very much. So at this point, I will just jump slightly forward to item 170, because item 169 is a private and confidential item. 170 is just to confirm date of our next meeting is Wednesday, the 14th of January